Good morning, and good morning. How are you? How are you? How was your weekend? Hope you had a good weekend. I did. I had a good weekend. It seemed like it ended too soon, and I'm already back here with another week ahead of me looking at, well, what am I involved with this week? No telling, but I'm always excited because I got another chance, another chance to get it right, another chance to live, to love, to experience, to develop, to do everything that is necessary to just say that I realize that it's an opportunity for me that others may not have gotten this morning. And so I'm extremely grateful. But I had a good weekend, and to the point where I did go to a graduation party for a young lady that I call her my niece, and she finished her. Good morning, Polly. How are you doing, sweetie? Um, happy to have you in the space this morning. But she graduated from Florida Central University, University of Central Florida, excuse me, I had it backwards, and done really well, and has a computer science degree, and she's basically a computer engineer. So, I'm always encouraging young people, middle-aged people, older people. Every opportunity to learn is one that you can seize. I never go to bed unless I probably learned something new that I did not know yesterday. So therefore, that gives me what I call more brawn to do what I want to do, and just say that it puts me in a position where I'm learning and I can help other people learn. Because to me, to learn is not just for yourself; it's also for someone else. So I want to give. That's why I'm on here. I come on with that intention in mind that somebody will learn something from me. And today's word is equanimity. Equanimity. And we're going to explain the word in a minute. But I wanted to look at a poem that I found, and it's a short poem, a very short poem. And even though it says she, if you're a man and you're listening, put your name in there. Put your gender in there. But it says, she's quiet, doesn't say much, rarely smiles, just listens, observes, knows your secrets, your weaknesses. You never told her, but she knows. And I always think about people who are quiet and people who are reserved and reposed and kind of, in their own little element. They are who they are. And you're always amazed when you ever get a chance to really talk to them of all that they know. Sometimes silence absorbs the noise. The silence of people absorbs the noise. And we never realize how much we have probably picked up from others who don't say anything. But when they speak, it's almost like that little thing they used to have called when E.F. Hutton speaks. When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens. So it's almost like that when you think about the fact that silence, in fact, I'm writing this down, absorbs the noise. So it picks up what people say. People don't realize that. They think no one's listening to them. They think a shut eye means they're asleep. They think an aversion of watching something elsewhere doesn't mean that they still can't hear. They can. They can. But it's the way in which they do things. They don't feel that they have to be on public display and show everything that they know. Sometimes the one that's the most quiet is the one that not only gets it, but they get it right. They get it right. They see the disposition. They see the position. They see how people act. Today, our word, hey, Debbie, Good morning, my sweet friend. Today our word is equanimity. Equanimity. And equanimity, we're going to talk about it in a minute. But one of the things, I'm going to repeat this over and over again. And I made this up this morning. I wrote that silence absorbs the noise. So if you are talking, somebody else has heard you. A lot of times we are in other people's conversations and we don't even realize it. We do not even realize that when we walk away, we know it was something of what they said, what they were intended to do, where they were going to go, what was it all going to be about. Okay. Silence, meaning I might be silent, but the noise around me, I still hear it. I'm still taking it all in. Wow, that's a mouthful. It is. It is. I tell you, over the weekend, even though I'm doing other things, I wake up or hear something during the course of a day, and I said, I got to work on that. And I write it down, and then I go find all the things that kind of go with it that make sense to me. Now, this is Sandy's sense. I didn't say it was your sense, because I think all of us have our own sense that we can apply to things and put in on stuff. But anyway, silence absorbs the noise. That is a Sandy quote from this morning. And it says, I'm going to read this poem over again a little bit later. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to remind me, Deb, to read that poem over again because I think it's set on. And the poem is by Helena Degen, Degen. I presume that that's how you would pronounce that. But equanimity. It sounds like it should be something equal and all of that. No, it isn't. Equanimity is mental calmness, composure, even tempered, especially in difficult situations. How many of us have been involved with people yelling at us, speaking at us as if we do not exist? Well, not only did we hear what they said, but we decided not to respond to it. We decided, okay, that deserves no slap back, no hello, but it does get a goodbye, which is sometimes maybe with all physical. Pivot, walk away. Sometimes we listen to so many things that people are saying that are negative, that are hurtful, that are scathing, give you weariness, make you fearful. How many of us have heard things that people say that, oh, wow, don't you say that to somebody? You never know. But once again, we heard it. And so does that mean we take caution? Sometimes we need to be cautious. We need to be cautious. We need to pay attention to what people say. We do. So anyway, with equanimity, it talks about it being one's composure, one's calmness, one's level-headedness. Level-headed. Silence is power. Ooh, that's good. That's good too. That's good. That's good. Tranquility, impassivity, poise, assurance, and aplomb. All of those things mean equanimity, meaning I don't have to display, what I know to you by yelling it, screaming it, pushing, pulling, display. I'm done with it. I don't have to do that, but I know it exists. Good morning, Kalithia. How are you, my sweet friend? Good to see you in the space. Today our word is equanimity. I don't know if you heard it, but it's mental calmness, even tempered. No matter the situation, difficult or not, you got it. Okay? So when we break the word down this morning, and I'll ask you this morning, are you stuck occasionally with not having equanimity, where you want to cuss back, or word them back with whatever the words are, escalate, shout, yell? Sometimes we do, but does it work? No. Good morning, Tammy. Hey, sweet friend, how are you? Good morning. Exit. Oh, that's good. Exit. That's good. Equanimity is just one of those things that we probably don't. For some people who are quiet all the time, that's what we're used to. But how about the person that isn't quiet all the time and sometimes gets this little period of equanimity where they are quiet, guess what? They're going to hear some things. All of a sudden, it's no longer their voice, it's someone else's voice. Because if you're the one always putting everything out in the airways, then other people may not hear it the way you want them to hear it. Why? They shut you down. They shut it out. It does not count. It has no merit. Has none. Has none. So when we break the word down again, like I'm going to say that I'm looking for my equilibrium. That's what I'm going to look for. My E is for equilibrium. I need to be stable about this. I need to be even board, comfortable, in a state of which the forces, it says opposing forces or influence, are balanced. I need to be balanced. How many of us are not balanced? One little thing sets us off and we're off on a tangent forever. Forever. Not that what we heard was going to set up a war. Not that what we heard was going to kill anybody. But what we heard provoked us enough. We're all of a sudden, we've escalated to the point where we're yelling and screaming and cussing. Good morning. Good morning, Big Mo. How are you, my friend? How are you? Good morning, Maurice. How's everybody this morning? Thank you so much for coming in. This is good stuff this morning. Good stuff. So I said my E is for equilibrium. Equanimity, as I said, means calmness, composure, even tempered. Okay, no matter the situation. So equanimity brings us to the point that I said equilibrium. Debbie said exit and entertain, because some people might be entertaining. Yes. Sometimes people may be entertaining. Like I had a brother that we felt that he entertained all the time. Every time he had something to say, he had to stand in the middle of the floor and make everybody watch him. And sometimes he'd be yelling at the top of his voice. Well, we had already cut him off in terms of our real listening. Essence. Okay, what do we take away? That's good. What's the essence of it? Yes. Well, equilibrium, I said it's my balance. It's my symmetry. Am I balanced on this thing? Even with politics, religion, all those things can get us where our equilibrium is off. We can be off for whatever the reason. Opposing sides. I'm a this, I'm a that. You're a this, you're a that. Okay, equilibrium says, look, let all of that pressure go. Okay, I'm going to stand in the middle. I'm going to stand in the middle. So it talks about symmetry, evenness, looking at parity, meaning I'm not going too far to the left or the right, but I'm comfortable where I am. Stability. To me, I feel more stable if I'm standing evenly on both feet. Occasionally I want to be cute and I might get a pose, strike a pose. That's not the way I normally am. I need both feet solidly on the ground, especially if I'm going to try to walk or try to stand. I need both feet. So therefore I need to be evenly planted, looking for my stability. And then there's talk about equilibrium being steadfast, meaning unmovable, steadfast. I'm going to stand right here. Okay, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here in terms of what I'm thinking. I'm not going to allow what you're thinking get into my head, and all of a sudden it's incited me to want to argue, to want to, as my mama say, fuss and fight, prove and defend. Okay, and sometimes offend in the proof. Unnecessary. So I said equilibrium, which also talks about counterpoise. And it says also that steadiness, that's all under equilibrium. So when we look at this whole word of equanimity, we're really looking at how do we just stay calm? How do we get out of the fray of where everybody might be throwing stuff? We don't need it. It's unnecessary. To me, when I come in and I do these sessions, I'm always thinking about the people that work with people that hear stuff all day long. Like remember in Charlie Brown, wah, wah, wah. Okay, the teacher. I mean, Charlie Brown wasn't listening to her, okay? Charlie Brown had equanimity because Charlie Brown was also running his mouth. So he really was not listening to his teacher. And we do that with our children, with everybody. But it says, but the equanimity part of it is that you're calm with it. I'm not going to let you steal my joy. I'm happy today. Thank you so much. I'm happy, regardless of what you're going through. Sorry you're going through it. Sorry. But I'm okay. I'm okay. When we move on in our word of equanimity, we talk about my Q. My Q is for quiet. Quiet. And it says, but it's called quietude. 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 And quietude is a state of stillness. Sometimes if everything is rolling around you with volume and, insinuendos, whatever is going on, it's too much. But the quietude says it gets to where you find a state of stillness, calmness, and a place for a quiet person. And sometimes, like I told you, as a child, I used to go sit in the closet because, we had these, closets where they just sat, almost, I think they're called armoires, and they just sit them there. They just sat there, but they were not built in the wall like modern day stuff. Okay. This is New York now. and we didn't have that. So we did the best we could, finding a quiet place. And if there's a lot of children, where you going to go? Well, I was small, so I would go sit in the closet with a book and my flashlight. That's what I did. That's how I found my peace, my calmness, my quietude. And it says quietude is quietness, it's tranquility, it's calmness, and it's alteraxis. 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 Altaraxis. And I have more on that in a minute. But let's see what you all wrote. Quarantine. Quick. That's right. Make it quick. Okay, those are all good. Those are good. You're too funny, Debbie. We move on in our word of equanimity. I talk about being untroubled. How do we get to a point where we're not troubled with other people's troubles? Most of us probably want to help as best we can until we realize that we keep going back to help the person that keeps drowning themselves or keeps getting themselves in places that it's difficult for them to get out of, especially if it's arguments. Now, I don't like arguments. I'm not interested in them. Don't want to be bothered with them. I'm going to let you argue. That means it's an argument of one, not an argument of two. So being untroubled, for me, says not feeling, showing, or affected by anxiety or problems, meaning they come. We realize that we live this life that doesn't come with, first of all, it doesn't come with papers. We get what we get, and we deal with what we have to deal with. And sometimes our dealing with certain things becomes more of a fight than just living your life calmly. That's because some people have drama wherever you're at. There could be drama in school. There could be drama at the grocery store. There could be drama at the movie house. It could be drama everywhere. Drama in your home. Drama. Work. Drama. How do you get to it? You have to get to that mindset where you have that equilibrium, that quietude, and that being untroubled by most things. That's where you become comfortable. But you have to be able to get there. Understand. Yes. Undo and understand. Those are all good, Debbie. Thank you. So I'm going to say unworried. I'm not going to worry about it because it's not mine. I'm going to leave you that. Unworried, unconcerned, also non-biased. You meaning, okay, that's how you feel. Okay, thank you. Because if you say something sometimes to some people where you're at odds with them, that creates more conversation. But if you're a person with this equanimity, then you want to be quiet. You don't have any conversation for that. You don't want it. So untroubled says also unbothered, unagitated. How many of us can be agitated by what people say and what people do all day long? Uh, what did it say? Utter under your breath. That's good, Debbie, because sometimes we do need to utter under our breath. Good morning, Ardelia. Listen, today's word is equanimity. It means mental calmness, composure, and even temperedness. And that's what I'm saying for myself. I try to seek, you know. In fact, lady told me yesterday I went into a place of business that I frequent, and she says every time I see you, you're always just full of joy. And I said, I worry about not being full of joy because that may be the last time anybody saw me. That's the last time anybody has seen me or sees me in this life. I hope it's where I'm doing well. I'm doing the best I can, as happy as I can be, full of it, full of what I give to others, hoping that it will be returned. And if I'm going someplace and I'm troubled, I'm I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I'm doing all of these things that escalate blood pressure and mental pressure, you know, I don't want it. I don't want it at all. So with equanimity, we also talk about your mind is not cluttered. You let it go. Laissez faire. Oh, can't do it. Can't handle that. Thank you. Okay. And then finally, it says under untroubled is that you are carefree. You're not taking on all the cares of the world. Now I know some people, and I used to be like that. Everybody came to me, I tried to fix it. And then I realized when I needed somebody, they weren't there to help me fix stuff. So sometimes you have to evaluate, you have to back up, and then you have to find your own equanimity to know when to bring it down to a simmer of quietness, a time just for you, a time just for you. Now, here's a word when I move on in our word of equanimity. I like this word. It's called I always get it wrong. Alteraxis. Alteraxis. I got to say it all together. Alteraxis. It's a state of peace and quiet. And I know the word, but I just get tongue-tied. Alteraxis is a state of peace and quiet, or the absence of mental stress or anxiety. Now, how many of us have worked jobs where we are stressed constantly from the time we go in until we leave? And then when we leave, we're still stressed. Especially if you have what I call a shallow group of people working with you, not many. You're stressed. You're stressed. I don't know if you all heard the news this morning that Australia, and I think France already has it, that once a person leaves work, a boss, a supervisor, a leader, whatever they call them, those in charge, cannot in any way, even if they send you an email or they send you a text or they phone you, you do not have to answer at all. At all. And you cannot be taken up on it. And I think they said the amount that will be paid in Australia, I think they said the person could sue for $64,000. Can you imagine them saying, just call me here? Try it here. Call me. You call. When I leave here, my cell phone is off to you. My house address is off to you. And my email is off to you. Can you imagine being able to tell an employer that? Well, they have that new law. I think it became effective. That must be yesterday because they're almost a half a day ahead of us, almost a full day. I think a full day because you crossed the date line. Can you imagine being able to do that? But adjust is a good word. But alteraxis, a state of peace and quiet or an absence of mental stress or anxiety. The word comes from a Greek root alteraxia, which literally means impassiveness. It is made up of a prefix, which means not and terracine, which really addresses the whole idea of to disturb or confuse. Don't do it. Abandon. Abandon. Oh yeah, abandon would be good. I'll be back on Monday, but I'm abandoned from Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday. I see you on Monday. That's good. That's good. But alteraxis also means heartbeat, peace, peace of mind, peacefulness, repose, and serenity. That's what you're looking for in your life, hopefully. You don't want anybody yelling at you 24/7 or even 16 hours. Excuse me, let's back it down 8 hours. Don't want it. Don't want it. And how many of you put it in the thread, how many of you find time for relaxation, which is just with you and your own mind? You and your own mind. Nobody else. Maybe walk to the beach, maybe just, take a bath and put on some music, or what do? Read a book. Those things relax us. They relax us. Good morning, Miss Rosie. How are you doing, my sweet friend? Good to have you in the space. Today our word is equanimity, which means basically being peaceful, even-tempered, quiet, finding your own way in life, meaning that nobody's going to shake you. Nobody's going to break you. That sounds like been to church, huh? Okay, I have. So anyway, equanimity is just that kind of thing. But when we look at the word and we further move it along, my N in equanimity is for the nature that we have. What nature do we present ourselves in? If we go to work or we go to meetings being, with a disposition of meanness, anger, frustration, anxiety, cursing, all of those kinds of things, when we do open our mouth, or aggressiveness, then we've really addressed the fact that our nature is really not good to hang out with. For me, I don't want to hang out with anybody that is cussing, fussing all the time. I can't do it. I can't. I just can't. I don't know about you all, but I know I've worked with people like that, and I'm done. I'm done. But the nature talks about it being the basic inherent features of something, especially when seen as charismatic. That basically they're your characteristics. That's how you are. Some people fuss morning till night, but that's their nature. That's their nature. Where others are just as calm, no matter what you say to them, they say, yeah, that sounds all right. Okay. No conversation about it. It is what it is. No plans. So anyway, nature talks about the being essence, and I think Maurice put down essence earlier. So there's essence, substance, character, identity, the type of personality that you have, category, class, and classification. I don't ever want to be in a column that says that I'm mean and I'm aggressive and I'm, frustrating to talk to. I don't want those columns. I don't want that. I don't want that as part of me. If that's yours, we probably will have to talk periodically, but it won't be long. It won't be a long talk. And my takeaway will be, wow, got through that. Got through it, made it through. Okay. When we move on in the word, my I in equanimity is for impassivity. How many of us, are not passive people, but we're aggressive people? But impassivity talks about the quality of not expressing emotion or not reacting to a situation. Meaning, if someone's yelling at you, should you yell? I'm going to leave that to you. How do we do it? Sometimes it's difficult to get, especially if a person in their yelling is also aggressive, meaning that they are forceful, they're in your face, or they're saying things to basically incite you to come along with them and have that wrangle, that what I call that rustling of feathers. Too much for me, so I don't do it. I don't know if you all do it or not. I can't. So impassivity talks about the person tries to remain emotionless, meaning I'm not going to tie myself into that. Impassiveness, indifference, meaning I'm going to stay here. You can stay over there if you want to, but I can't. I'm not coming over there. I'm not going to argue with you. You know, it says also unemotionally attached to whatever is going on, meaning I hear you. I hear what you're saying and I understand it, but can't hang with it. It is what it is. It is what it is. When we move further on in our word, we talk about mollify. Mollify, Molify. It says to soothe in temper or disposition. That's what we want. You know, I want somebody that's easy to talk to, easy to be around. And sometimes I can be around some people, they don't have anything to say, but their calmness is company. They're calm. Look, I'm writing down stuff this morning. Their calmness is company. It's not just company to them, but it's company to those of us who enjoy their company. It's like, hey, we can just get together. Like I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend that's getting over being sick, and what I love about her is that we can go and sit out and listen to jazz. Her name is Anita. We can listen to jazz, and oh my God, we're just fine. We're just chilling. Just want her chair, my chair. We may say a little bit to each other, but we're just chilling out with the jazz. To me, that is my period where I find equanimity. I'm just chilling. I'm calm. My whole, I can do the mollify. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need anything else to say. You know, basically it says when one alleviates what's going on, it's like you minimize all of that noise. Okay. It says that you also appease, you know, pacify. You understand that we sometimes need to have pacifiers. And our pacifier may be with something that we hear or something that we find within ourselves when we're able to meditate or able to draw back. We find it. We find a way to do that. And that's what we do. So when we mollify, which also says that we placate, meaning we may say something, but we may just be giving it a little draft. No, we really have nothing in the game. We're not trying to pull it to us. We're just trying to add a word or two to it, that we're not involved in it, but that it's understood. That sometimes we agree, sometimes we do not. Sometimes we just are not as an acknowledgement that we heard it. That's it. That's it. Mollify also talks about a period where you are still and quiet. And that's what I'm saying. How many do any of you meditate? You know, I don't necessarily meditate, but I do a lot of reading and writing, and that's my calm. That's my mollify. That's my period of being, you know, passively impassive, having impassivity, where I'm just chilling. You know, somebody can come in and they may be able to say something to me while I'm writing or reading. I may stop for a minute, but I'm gonna go right back to whatever I'm doing that keeps me, you know, satisfied, just in terms of my own personality. When I move further on in my word of anonymity, I talk about being inaudible. In order to have an argument, you need 2, 3 mass group. Okay, arguments. People don't realize that sometimes if you don't fuel the fire with gasoline, it's not going to burn. You know, you might be able to because it remains small, is put a cover over it and smother it. You're done with it. But if you've decided to get into the conversation and argue and prove it, defend it, make worthy of it, hang a flag up over it, then it becomes more of a representative of who you are than whose you are. I want to be myself. I'm not trying to be anybody else. So even if you bring me a story, and I might take some of it as truth, that doesn't mean I'm going to be out on the front line with you come tomorrow. I think at some point in time we have to stand up for who we are. And sometimes who we are is better put to where people understand who we are when we're silent, when we're in that period of inaudible. Well, she didn't say anything about this. Sometimes not hearing is receiving. Somebody's received it that you didn't chime in on it. They got it. They got it. They didn't hear it. It wasn't supposed to be meant. It wasn't supposed to be meant that they heard it. I'm writing my stuff down so I can end up vlogging this. See, this is vlogging. Eventually I'm going to be blogging later on. I'm getting ready to change my website and start blogging. I'm just writing it down. Okay. But anyway, when we move on in our word, inaudible means unheard, meaning you don't have to speak on it. Not heard, out of earshot. There you go, Debbie, mumbling under your breath. Or just conjuring it up in your mind. You like, okay. It says it may be faint, meaning it wasn't meant for other people to hear. Now, what I learned recently, and I probably paid attention to it before back in the day, is that people who can read lips, that if you're a person that what you're thinking, you're also talking even though it's not coming out as being heard, people who read lips like, ooh, that's what she said. Sometimes you got to be careful. Like even when you watch basketball games or the football, the different people that are speaking to their people, the coaches, they're covered up. Why? They don't want their plays known. They don't want anybody that can read lips be able to say, yeah, they just getting ready to do a left, right, left. Now, I don't know nothing about I know nothing about football. Basketball, just a tad more. Just a tad more. But anyway, my point is that they're not going to give their plays away. They're trying to win, not lose, because someone was able to read certain things, therefore interpret which direction the ball is going, and they're going to run and what formations are going to take. Now I sound like I know 2 cents more, huh? Come on now. Stay around. So anyway, inaudible also says that it could be soft-spoken, low in terms of volume, muffled, meaning they meant to make it where it wasn't really able to be, and whispered. Like I remember when I was little, my mother would always say, come whisper it to me and tell me what you want me to know, Sandra. And I would go over there and I'd be just as loud as I'm talking now. She said, you can't whisper, get out of here. I couldn't. I wasn't good whisper. I'm better now. But back then I wasn't. When I keep moving on in our word of equanimity, I'm looking at tranquility. That's what I'm looking for. I want to be tranquil. I want it to be that the quality of state of my being is that it is calm, And I probably was able to handle more raging, discussions and finger pointing and all those kinds of things back in the day. Not now. I'm done. I'm not one to argue. Transparent. That's good. That is really good. Yes, sometimes we have to be transparent so that people know to not bring that to us. Do not mess with us. Leave that over there. Don't bring it over here. Those kinds of things. So when we talk about tranquility, we talk about peace, peacefulness, repose, being calm, quiet, being silence, not having anything going on. It's just quiet, stillness. How many of us, go to things like even church? I watch people in church, and I've occasionally had to do it because I got lost on what chapter of the Bible we were in. So I realize that sometimes I don't have my stillness on as much as I should. But then it also is wildness and composure, meaning we brought it down. There's no need for the escalating of information. It is what it is. give thy thoughts, right? No tongue. Okay, I got you. Yes, give it to thought. And no, that's right. Don't, I love it. I love that. Thank you, Ardelia. Here's something I said earlier, and I'm before I do my last word. Um, I read this poem, and it to me is so revealing. It's by Helena Deegan, or Degen, Degn, and it says "Silent but Deadly." Okay, that's the name of the poem, and it says she's quiet, doesn't say much, rarely smiles, just listens, observes, knows your secrets, your weaknesses. You never told her, but she knows. Think about that. How many times have we, not been as secretive as we should, been as quiet as we should, been as unrevealing as we should, and somebody knows? And I think when I first started out, it's like knowing other people's conversations, and you're in the market or you're in the library. Yes, they talk in the library, or you're in church, wherever, and you still know stuff about other people because they were sharing it and not realizing that other ears were listening, other ears. So silence. And one of the things I wrote here that I want you all to take away, and Deb I think heard it earlier, and let's see, and there was Polly was here earlier, and it says silence absorbs the noise. That's my quote. Silence absorbs the noise. So if people are speaking around you, they need to know that you heard what they said, even if you don't bring it into your being, your paradigm, making it a part of you. It still was in, and how long it stays is up to you. But if you're probably someone who gossips, or someone who might be nosy, or someone, okay, it may have more places that it could be taken. Plain and simple, given away, just because you were not trying to cover up, but vocal, and people heard it, and then they took it elsewhere. You say, and you could say, "But I only told that to so." That's true. You did. You only told it to X person. But guess what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay. Everybody else got it, including Z. Everybody got it. Everybody got it. So sometimes we do have to be careful of how we expose, the information that we have for others to hear. So I wrote this down too. I said, calmness is company. Sometimes if you can find your calm, you don't need company. Your calmness is your company. It is, it is. We find ourselves very comfortable with our calmness. Now I know some people, they don't like ever being alone. Never, ever, ever. 5 minutes, they like calling somebody. Well, I'm just the opposite. I can be with you, and I can also be by myself. I grew up in a large family, so we always had people around. But when I found my peace and my calmness, oh my goodness, I was in another world. All of a sudden, I was able to think better, write better, understand better, understand not just who I was, but who others were. That was important to me. It helped me all through my life. To me, everything you've done in your past should give you, credence, understanding, realization, a realization for who you are today. And even if there were things in your past that you don't do now, there was a reason for that, because you learned from them. You learned from them. And sometimes we think having a best friend is truly a best friend, and sometimes they're the best frenemy that you could ever have, because everything you tell them, they've told somebody else. So sometimes having equanimity means I'm going to be quiet for a while. I'm going to listen to others, but I'm going to try my best not to absorb it and make it my platform, my thing that I stand on, because I don't need to. I don't need that. My last word that I have for my Y of equanimity is yield. Yield. Y-I-E-L-D. It says it gives way to arguments, demands, or pressure. Should we crumble under pressure and be forced into listening to people, taking on their views, making sure that every time they spoke, we were there to listen and all that kind of stuff? Some of us have done that, especially in the younger years. In our younger years, we probably listened to a lot of stuff that was pure D crap. We heard it, we absorbed it, but we loved the person. And so we loved the person. Therefore, anything they said was like gold, platinum, straight up, can't get priceless stuff. And then later on, as we grew, we let them go down to the level that they belonged in. But as we grew into who we were, we let them become what I call regular size. We had given them life size, we had given them grand size, major size, huge size, colossal size. And then all of a sudden, when we find out who we are, we put them back down to size, which is good. That's where everybody should be on equal footing. I would be excited. I'm not going to lie. I would be absolutely blown out of my mind to meet people in high places, high positions, musicians, educators, preachers, whatever. But it would not make me all of a sudden twist and turn and lose my own sensibility, my own purpose, because I have a purpose and everyone else has their own purpose. So I'm not going to try to make their purpose my purpose. My purpose has to be my own. It has to be that I claim it. So I yield to some things that people have that they want to pass on to me, although I respect people who have things that are good to say. That's why I ask, are you stuck? I'm not telling you that I'm stuck on everything. What I'm telling you is, have you dealt with this word? Have you heard this word before? Can you tell me how you feel about the things that are connected to this this behavior, this situation, this orientation? That's all I try to do, is giving you a new perspective and adding more to who you are. So my yield gives way to arguments, meaning I'm going to let you come on with your argument, whatever your demands are. They may be your demands, but they're not the demands that I am going to deal with unless I choose to. And it says it won't be pressure that you give me. It's pressure that I would put on myself. And I'm too old now. I'm not putting pressure on myself anymore. I'm not applying pressure. I don't need that kind of thing going on in my life. So it says basically, when you've yielded to something, you've given it up. Laissez-faire. You've just said, oh, good morning, Claydine. I got something for you. I have to call you. Anyway, good to see you in the space. But anyway, yielding says that we will surrender. We will look at relenting and basically saying that on that issue, we're defeated. We're not even participating. We're done with it. An argument can start, but it continues if you're a part of it. It continues for you if you're a part of it. I don't put myself in those situations anymore. And I've never been an arguer. I've been a good debater, but I'm not one to argue about proving and defending and making, people, belittle me or increase themselves or try to increase me and then still increase themselves. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. But anyway, that's our word for today. Claudine, I want you to go back and listen to this. This is a great message, I think. How about you, Ardelia? Did you guys enjoy today's lesson? Debbie, Polly, I'm trying to think of all the people I've seen, Rosie and everybody. This was a great lesson, just really looking at, equanimity and what it stands for. It's mental calmness, composure, and even temperedness, meaning no reason to get upset, no matter what you're going through. You can't change people, positions, and their power, even if it is perceived. You cannot do it. You can't do it. That's because they're positioned where they are. They're positioned. They're positioned. But anyway, I love you guys. I love you, love you, love you so much. And hope you will think about what today's word was, and how you deal and use it in your way of living forward. Let's see. Hey, Mom, I'm working on the third eye. That's right. That's right. That's right. I got you. I got you. What I want you to do is just enjoy your day. Find some time to be peaceful, to find your equilibrium, your quietude, your untroubled, not uncontrolled, your untroubled way of life, your alteraxis, which is the quiet state of peace and quiet. Look at the opportunity to find out that you can change your nature. You don't have to be one that is always ready to fuss and fight. Find your impassivity, mollify, which is to soothe your temper and your disposition. Be inaudible. Find a period where it's just absolute quiet. I'm fine. Listen to your music, listen to an audio book, sleep, whatever it is. Find your peace. Find, it says, also your tranquility, which is also your state of being calm. And then lastly, yield yourself away from the things that would try to enter in and disrupt everything that we've talked about today. I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. Listen, if you don't do anything else, hit your share button and share this message. There's no cost to it, no cost whatsoever. But I'd love it if you would share this, and appreciate everyone who comes. And I'll be back on Wednesday with another word. Okay? Love you, love you, love you. Behave. Well, you don't have to, but I'm just asking you. Maybe you will. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.